Evening boaters, Keith McGowan here. I am the Outboard Dad, here to help you have a better boating experience by using my used outboard motor buying guide. So, soon to be on sale on Amazon, and how can you use it to your best ability? Let me help share with you. Little story, a friend of mine, Ed Saboko, worked on his boat years ago, sold him a motor probably 10 plus years ago, referred me to his friend Brett, who had just bought a 13-foot Boston Whaler. Nice little boat, Yamaha 40 horsepower on it, him and his kids. There's a video on it if you look back in some of my videos, or if you send me a comment, I'll refer you to where that video was or send it to you. Or you can shoot me an email at keith@outboarddad.com. So he said, hey, I bought this boat, can you come and just go through some things, see what we're gonna need? You know, it's kind of getting towards the end of the season. It was September. Went down, took a look at it. Unfortunately, we found some issues. Some of the pictures from his motor are actually in the new guide because it was just something obvious that you can look at that easily could be missed. And that was visual corrosion. So what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to put this guide to use. I'm going to go up to take a look at a boat for Brett, or a motor for Brett, and we're going to evaluate that motor for him, because what happened when I looked at his boat and motor, the boat was great. You know, some minor electrical things. You're always going to be chasing electrical problems with boats and making sure connections are done properly, replacing cables, so on and so forth. We did a compression check. Kind of my first thing always to look at. Came out good. He said, yeah, it's been running fine. We've been out on the water. And I said, let's take a closer look. We saw some corrosion, a couple of broken bolts on the motor mounts, on the lower motor mounts right above your lower unit. So I was like, wow, you know, that's not something you can just go ahead and fix. There's so much corrosion where the bolts were that you're not going to get a bolt in there again. You know, let's just take a little step further here and check the lower unit. Took the plug out of the lower unit and water ran right out of it. So I was like, okay, you know, now you need lower unit seals at the very least, but you have to be careful because I see a stainless steel prop on here. I'm not a huge fan of those. There's nothing wrong with it. If you want to get more speed, you have some more control, I'm all for that. But if you hit something out on the water, aluminum props are more likely to break than possibly bend your shaft. And while I was explaining it to him, went and spun the shaft, and the shaft was wobbling back and forth. My assumption is because of that wobble, that seal wore out and probably got water in there. So I said, okay, hold it, time out. A shaft, number one, is going to be expensive. We don't know if the bearing carrier is good or if it got worn out, and those bearings, we're kind of at a point here, 1989 motor, that we're going to have to really think about whether it's worth it to invest more money into this motor. And he was like, oh, wow, really? You know, I didn't expect that. I said, yeah, because a used lower unit could be $300–400. You could be back out on the water, but you have some major corrosion. We looked a little closer. Somebody had smushed some epoxy or some type of a harder caulk inside where the bolts had broken off. And I was like, look, you're not going to just replace the midsection on this motor. It's going to be difficult to find one. Then you're going to have to get that power head off the midsection. If you watch any of my videos for the Mercury, it was a 2001, I believe, Mercury 150. It's a fight to get them off of there. And a 1989 now, with all this already having this corrosion, you may be able to pull the power head and find another midsection. Now you're kind of starting a science project. He's not handy enough to do that work himself. And if you're going to start paying someone to do that, spending maybe $1,000 on used parts, assembling things, it's going to get really sticky. I would look at another motor that matches this one, and then maybe we can use some old parts off of the old one. But again, now it's 1989, it's going to be a little more tricky. So we keep an eye out all the time on Facebook Marketplace, have a guy up at Greenwood Lake, Freedom Marina. We're going to go up and say hi to the owner up there tomorrow, and we're going to meet his guy, Nick, who has a motor for sale. He actually rents space from the marina and does outboard motor work, so we'll get his information to you if anybody's up in that Greenwood Lake area, just over the border from New Jersey into New York. We're going to go evaluate that motor. We're going to do a compression check. It does have power tilt and trim. It is a 20-inch. Made sure some of those basics were correct. Fresh water motor. It was used only on Greenwood Lake its whole life, so it should be a better motor. Should be a good one to purchase. So what was the value of this guide? All he said to me was, I wish I would have met you and bought this guide before I bought this boat, because I could have done some simple visual checks. I didn't think to spin the prop. I didn't think to look at the lower unit oil. Some basic things he could have done. Now, my outboard motor guide goes a lot deeper than that, and there's more things you can look into. Also, you may be buying project motors, which is kind of different. You're kind of accepting some things that are wrong that you're going to fix up. So tomorrow we're going to do a little adventure, take a ride up to Greenwood Lake, and we'll check out this 40 horsepower Yamaha, and let's see what we can get it for and how much we can save Brett. Now, he did kind of lose on that one purchase, unfortunately. He still has a great Boston Whaler boat that's in great condition, so repowering is, we're just going to try and get the best bang for his buck. So if we can pick up a motor under $2,000, under $3,000, maybe a 4-stroke, but this is a 2-stroke, it's a little lighter, kind of matches what he already has. We're hoping that the controls will match right up with the old controls. It should. We're going to just get all that information. If it doesn't, it's still worth it if the price is right for this motor and the compression and everything checks out the way the seller says it is. So spoke with Nick on the phone. He seemed to be a very reasonable guy. He said, yeah, I'll meet you up there at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll get up there and check out that motor for Brett. Now, in the meantime, when you see my guide for sale on Amazon.com and you purchase it for $20, I am offering for a short period of time, if you send me an email with proof of purchase, I will give you a free session over the phone, a $250 value, to help you with a motor that you're looking to buy and the things you need to look for so you can have a better boating experience and eliminate those words, that saying that the best 2 days are the days I bought it and the days I sold it. That's our commitment here at the Outboard Dad channel, to help you have a better boating experience. So tomorrow we'll get up there, we'll record the session, we'll meet Mark up at the marina, check out his place, see what he's got going on up there. These are the guys I've met over the years and been able to work with who've shared knowledge with me. This lower unit I'm doing a video on now that I'm rebuilding, just waiting for the parts to come in. And a gentleman said to me on a comment, hey, you know why that extra bolt is in there? I had said, oh, why don't they put all these bolts in here for? There's 2 right next to each other. He says, oh, that's actually a stabilizer bolt, because they found that they vibrate a little bit there, and if they put that extra bolt in, they have less challenges. So I said, is that in any manual? Is that in anything? He said, no, I learned it when I was at MMI. So interesting, we can all learn from each other the things that we need to do to have a better boating experience. When you buy the Outboard Dad's used outboard motor buying guide, it's going to help you find some of these things before you go and spend the money on the boat. Now you'll have some gentlemen that'll be out there, or some people selling their motors that'll say, oh, it's been like that for years, it's not a problem, I don't know why you're worried about it. You know, just you want to be careful, buyer beware. How many guys said that? And then, okay, well, if I'm going to pay for this, are you going to give me any kind of warranty? No, there's no warranty, right? So there's never a warranty on, especially on used outboard motors. So you want to find what's the best for your buck. Listen, we all work very hard for our money, and we want to be sure that we're getting out of it the best that we can, so we can enjoy it and have less hassles while we're out on the water. So please like, subscribe, send me any comments that you have. Soon to be in sale on Amazon, and we'll talk to you soon. And we look forward to seeing you out on the water.